All right, okay, I got the mic on. I got the mic turned on. So, yeah, welcome to the stream. Tuesday's PowerShell Chill AMA. Ask me anything to do with IT. Um, yes. Also, you can obviously ask about this specific incident that happened. It's always interesting. Essentially, probably going to get asked this over and over again. So, what happened was I got shot by a paintball at 300 feet per second. Yeah, wasn't fun. Wasn't fun at all. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Welcome. Hope you guys stick around. Today we're just gonna be writing some unit tests for PowerShell. But yeah, we can just have a bit of a chat. It's very casual today. No lecture, no nothing. Just gonna be more focusing on the bits and pieces. So yeah, let's get stuck into it, eh? I think that's probably a good thing to do. Yeah, it's been pretty hectic lately. I was going to start at 3, but I kind of just got my head I just got caught up with a my project at work that I've been working on, and I was kind of just too engrossed into it, and I kind of wanted to get it done before well, get as much done before I started the stream, and then I realized I needed to jump in and have a shower, and then obviously that yeah, obviously yeah, so a little bit late, but that's all right. I do think it's going to be a fairly short stream today. I do expect just to be writing some basic unit tests, and then we might be able to do some integration testing today for our Update-AI-traceLog. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening today. Super pumped to get this done because I do have some other thing that I kind of want to work on next week. So I was thinking about writing a PS framework module, but using a lot of writing PS log framework module, but using a lot of PowerShell framework itself, the module. I think it might be more preferable to actually use that. Don't reinvent the wheel. Use something that's actually being used and being supported. So that's probably what we're going to be doing. So instead, one of the things I've been doing is working with PowerShell templating. So essentially what I'll be doing is writing some extra code into that module to add functionality for interpolation for scripting. So you can dynamically add scripts. The other thing I really want to do with that is add interpolation, add choice parameters and things like that. So essentially you can ask a user for specific yes or no questions or whatever questions you desire. Then the user can fill that out and you can action based on that. So it's adding a few of those extra features from Plaster into that. However, I do want to also obviously I want to dynamically add script interpolation into it because it's really cool. So essentially, instead of having you've got a snippets directory, you can have that snippets directory dynamically update, and then without actually having to update the entire template, you can build your template around the directory so that when there's a new snippet that gets added into it, it'll just automatically feed into the automatically get prompted. So there's less moving parts. One of the really cool things I want to do there as well is I want to focus on writing some sorry, I've just got to realize my chat's client's just broken. See if it's going to fix now. Yep, there we go. I think it's working now. So essentially, the plan is there to actually write some additional code. So yeah, that's and that basically will feature you can append header information onto the actual the script itself. And then basically you can use that header information to dynamically group different snippets together, so you can dynamically interpolate at once. So let's say you've got a block of initialized code and you've got disposal code. In your initialization, you might be creating PowerShell run spaces, and then you want to probably dispose of them before the script ends. So those two snippets can be grouped together, and then obviously you can write header information inside of those two scripts to dynamically prompt. So they'll basically it'll just treat them the same, but essentially you can have dynamically added scripts, and yeah, it's really quite cool. You don't have to deal with it means there's less work on the template. So anything that has less work on a template means I'm happy, because it means that then, yeah, that's less maintenance, which means it's easier to work with. And obviously, the simpler it is, the better it is. So anyway, without any further ado, let's get stuck into it. We've got some code to write. I've got some unit tests to write. So essentially what I've done here is we've had the previous one, which was using the custom events PowerShell module. So that's got the same unit tests. That's pretty much the same old, same old. This one is going to basically just be running I think it's just going to run, this is going to run a different series of tests, but essentially it's just testing the same concepts, and we're just going to be mocking the output. So what I need to do is we're going to need to start working out what we need to mock. So we've kind of started here. We're going to update AI-traceLog.ps1, so we're dot sourcing that in. Is that how I did it there? Must have. How am I dot sourcing it? Oh, there's my unit test. There it is. Yeah, I'm just dot sourcing it in. Okay. So essentially, I'm just going to mock those. So what I need to mock, I think we're mocking in here, are we? So we're mocking throw, returning error, should return an error, missing resource name. Okay, so we're mocking, so it looks like we're mocking, we're testing the parameter sets. New AI client, send AI trace. Okay, yeah, looks like we're doing that. Okay, so missing commandlet. Okay, so that's where I was last. So we got new AI client, send AI trace, send AI exception. Yep. So I am missing commandlet. New AI client has instrumentation key. Oh. I'm just going to say commandlet has commandlet new AI client has not been invoked. Has instrumentation key. So has instrumentation key parameter. So let's test this code execution path. So essentially, I'm just kind of reading this. It's been ages since I've worked on this, so I'm kind of I've got to play a bit of catch up on it. New AI client has not been invoked. Has instrumentation key parameter defined. Okay, so it's got that defined. Okay, yep, and then if it's got instrumentation key, or if that's been specified, then it will try and call it. So what we're actually interested in is this specific execution path. I'm not particularly interested in anything else underneath it, because the execution path it will be the same. It's only creating the client. So what we can do here thinking what we can do here is we can essentially we can just go ahead and run the rest of it, and then essentially if there's any sort of shenanigans, yeah, we don't need to. We're just we can just mock it anyway. So we've mocked all that. We've mocked that. We've mocked the commandlet itself. Let's commandlet execute. Send AI trace. Have we mocked that? Okay, we need to mock send AI trace. Oh, actually we have. So we've got send AI exception. Okay, so we just mocked the entire thing, and we should essentially get. Yep. Okay. Cool. So what we can do here is we're only validating this specific aspect of the script block. So all we need to do is check to see if this command has been, we just need to assert that that has been mocked. So let's go ahead and execute it. Update-AITraceLog. We can then just go detail test. We can then go instrumentation key, and then we can just go test. Actually, we should need to actually, we can't really do that, so we're going to need to put old matey here. Then we can assert, so we can go assert mock called, module name, PSApp insights, like so, and command name is new AI client times 1. Oh, actually, is that exactly 1? So essentially, it's called that exactly once, and that should be it. So assert mock call, module name, PSApp insights, command line, new app ID, client. Do I need to do anything else? I don't think we really need to assert whether this is mocked, because how many times is with write debug in here? It's twice. We can just get rid of that. We actually don't need it. Okay, so we can just assert that's been mocked. So let's actually go ahead and run this unit test and see what happens. What's my debug configuration? Interactive session, that works. Oh, actually, I think it's launch current file. I'm just going to swap these bad boys around. What's going on here? Mate, appreciate it if you didn't actually follow your indentation. Indent, damn it. Okay, fix that. Alright, so let's go ahead and run this and see what we get. So why are you not launching? There we go. Okay, error in the describe block. Fantastic. Cannot be run because the following modules were required by this requires statements PSApp insights are missing. Okay. Where's that requires? Okay, so we dot source old matey in and it hasn't. Okay, I'm just going to go store module. Go ahead and run that. Ah, that's good. Is there a called PSApp insights? Yeah, it's called PSApp insights. So that's my first problem. It helps if you actually put an S on the end. Alright, let's rerun it again and see what we get. Alright, context missing resource name. Should throw error not found in context block. Okay, we should probably troubleshoot that one first actually. Error not occurred, command not found, could not find command throw. I thought that's how, I can't remember how I mocked the throw now. How did I do on the other one? I thought I mocked it that way. How do I mock a throw? How did I mock a throw? Didn't, did I? I'm pretty sure I did mock a throw. Missing resource name. Where's missing resource name? I'm just going to get rid of that. Let's see what happens. Yep. 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 Step out. Step out. Step out. Step out. Step. 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 Exception with exception. Sorry. Expected an exception message with throw, however was missing. Oh, that works. How about we can just do this. So if we rerun old matey, we should get a pass. Look at that. Should throw this like so. Perfect. Alright, so that's that part done. Alright, next part. So we need to validate old matey. So what we can do here is we can do the same shenanigans. Error in a context block. What do we got an error in a context block here? Missing resource name parameter or runbook variable. Okay, so we actually need to add resource name. We're just going to call it test. Like so. Okay, perfect. What's our result? There should be absolutely nothing in it. It should be completely null. That should be exactly 1. Expected new A client in module app insights to be called exactly once, but it didn't. Oh, okay, interesting. Alright, we can probably just whack a debugger on that and see what's going on in there. So, mock called, actually, let's shift F5, break out of that, let's have a look at what's running inside it. So I'm just going to drop a breakpoint here. Interesting. Okay, so let's drop a breakpoint here. Let's run it. See what we get here. Yep. Okay, we're in. We're in. We're in. Well, there you go. What's that going on there? So we have an instrumentation key. Okay, so there's an issue with our code. Okay, hang on. Does that exist? I'm pretty sure that exists. Okay, that exists. So that's the reason why it's working. So we need to... where is that being mocked in? I'm manually setting that somewhere. Let's have a look. Oh, I might actually put a before each here. And just clear it. What should I do here? We need to remove this variable. Maybe after each. so I'm just going to quickly run that now so we can actually make sure there's nothing in there. Let's go ahead and run it. So just to make sure, there should be literally nothing in there. Yep, sweet. So let's have a look. That should now step in. Perfect. Alright. Instrumentation key cannot be found. No! Okay, we need to have a look at that piece of code. Why it's having fun, playing funny buggers. Yep. Hit my breakpoint. Is there an instrumentation key? Yes, there is. Okay, so it goes ahead and creates it. What are we in? New AI client. I'm just going to shift it. Oh, don't tell me it's from. Okay, it's trying to. That should. That should have mocked it. Is that? It's a little quiet, am I? Is that better? Sorry, I just saw your message just get held by stream chat. I was, yeah, no worries. Just thinking about this. Why is it not playing ball? So just run that. Yep, let's hit that. Sweet. What are you doing in here? So you're going, yep. It honestly, this honestly doesn't feel like it's being mocked. It honestly feels like it's actually indicatively trying to actually create a, I thought it was supposed to mock it, but it's not. Alright, straight to the documentation. Let's have a look. Pasta mock. Optional string defining the name of the module where the command is to be mocked. Yeah. This should be a module that calls the mocked command. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the same module which is originally implemented the command. Yep, that's fine. I think it's working. Oh, that's frustrating. I'm going to have to add that to the fix list. But for the time being, I actually need to mock these. So I'm just going to mock them the old-fashioned way and just go mock new client and just return like so. Mock. Because what was happening there is it actually wasn't mocking it, and it was actually running the command. I don't want it to run the command, I just want it to mock. Mock, also helps if I can spell. So if we got that, then we can go, let's rerun this. Error code, property instrumentation key. Okay, let's just restart the restart the console. Okay, I actually need to return something, so I'm just going to return test. Let's see what that does. Okay, I'm just going to breakpoint it because I think it's... This is frustrating. Why is that not working? Why is that not working? I just want to have a quick look at my... G'day, Glenn. How you going, mate? You might be able to answer this question. This is how I had my mock set up for this specific for my unit test. So mock module name, which is PSApp Insights, and then the actual commandlet. However, actually debugging it, it actually is executing the commandlet. And then obviously I'm asserting a mock called based on the module name, which that's how documentation is specified. So am I doing something wrong? Well, that's what I mean. So if you look here, it says, where is it? Module name. Optional, specifying the string of the module name where the command is to be mocked. This should be a module that calls the mock command. I figured it out. It's the module that calls the mock command. It's actually, yeah, it can't call itself. That's why. I'm just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way, but I don't. Just quickly checking. Hey, how's Puppet Life, mate? Oh, it's mock with. It also helps if I actually know how to write a mock. Just return like so. Clean my mess up. Please note. Okay. Been doing. Oh. Working off one screen sucks. It sucks so bad. You're just hunched over and you're like, I'm unproductive. An open source product review all day. Oh, that's cool. I've been looking at the book, conference book, so I'm just kind of put my hand up and started reviewing some chapters, so see how we go. And yeah, working on PS framework. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna I've got to spend a bit of time on it, but essentially it's it's actually quite tedious. It's so tedious to work on, but at the end of the day, though, it's got to get done. And yeah, so I think I'm going to spend Saturdays on that, and then I'm going to spend Sundays writing my talk. So yeah, I think I've fixed it now. So if we can be able to actually run our cert, we should be fine. It also helps if I know. Oh, what are you? You did not declare of mock. Just going to breakpoint that, see what happens. Yep, you're happy. Happy. Okay. I'm just going to clean that up by removing mate, like so.
Yeah, for Summit. So essentially, I want to get, I want to at least write all the basics, the dot points down, and then once I've understand exactly what I need to write, like I've got it pretty much all set up in my mind now, but it's just the, once I have those dot points down, then I can actually architect the entire platform, and I'm kind of like I don't just want to build a demo for a specific action. I kind of want to build an entire platform so that basically I can actually just push it to GitHub so that anyone can use it. And then once I've got that done, then basically I can write some really cool integrations with it. Like there's some of the integrations I was thinking about that I can actually do with it. It's going to be pretty awesome. So yeah, and I'm thinking what I might do is on the actual one of the things I will do is I'll actually make it's live as per se, so it will, like, obviously it all recorded demos, but people who actually are sitting there can actually work on the bot live independently of what I'm presenting. But yeah, and there's some really, really cool things I've got lined up which I think will like really show the power of it. So yeah, yeah, so that's the plan. The pain is at the moment is really, I think the biggest pain point at the moment is like I want to at least write all the like get the slides out first, and then I can work on the back end. Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Writing compelling talks is really difficult. I think the way that I'm going to do it though, like I don't want to reveal too much because like what I have, I think is just going to be like really, really cool. So obviously going through the talks and, talking about all that, and did a little bit of a theory lecture, and then we just straight into the code and then out the other side and seeing the goodness of automation at its best. And the internet, and you're like got OBS recording and it's on YouTube and everyone's like, nah, it's all good. No, I have a, oh, that's why it's not working. I have this idea that I have, like I'm just gonna, it's gonna be so cool. Let me just give you a slight snippet of what I'm going to do, and one of it is there's a potential that it might be able to be interactive within Discord, within oh sorry, not Discord. You can interact with it within within Twitch live stream chat. So that's like the slight, like a slight tidbit that I want to do, so people can actually, yeah, when I'm live streaming, do things. Well, that's exactly right. Like at the end of the day, though, if it doesn't, it doesn't. But my demos will be recorded. But at the same time, though, it's more, yeah, I've got some stuff in there in the pipeline that I think is just going to be really, really cool. I'm actually really excited to present it because I kind of thought of a way that I can just blow it out of the water, and then hopefully that gives me an opportunity to come back. And these guys are like, yeah, he's actually really good. I'll be like, thank you. Now I can actually come back. Oh, why are you whinging now? The property instrumentation key cannot be found on this object. Oh my God. What's whinging about it now? Oh, I think I'm just going to make it available. Like it's going to be there and people can do whatever they want. Like, but essentially, yeah. Meanwhile, back in Pesterland, assert assert's not working. Assert's just property instrumentation key may not be found on this object, but it's supposed to. Anyway, let me just try rerun this. Why is that not working? That should be working. I'm just gonna step through this and find out what it's doing. So step. Okay, it should have an instrumentation key now. Yes, it has an instrumentation key. Okay. Yes. Mock. Yes. Yes. Get the stack. Assert that it was called. Do I need to? Oh, it's been so. I gotta go have a look at my other demo, my other ones. It also helps if I actually wrap it inside an it statement, wouldn't it? I actually thought I didn't need to, but I've just been so. I haven't been writing many. To be honest, I have been writing tons of unit tests. I just haven't been doing mocks yet. I've just been writing PS script analyzer unit tests. Should call new AI client with the expected result. Let's see if this works. I have no bloody. Oh, I did. Okay, it worked. We're just looking at another one. That's why. Perfect. Okay, so that one's written. I'm just gonna null this. It doesn't actually have anything. It doesn't need a result variable. It can just be nulled. Standard execution. All right. So one of the really cool things that I've been working on, Glenn, is I've been working on a ton of plaster, and then basically I've ditched plaster, and I've moved to the PS module framework. So I've been writing code to basically to obviously templating code to write PowerShell scripts and modules and all that. Except one of the things that I've been doing is this is something that it's a mind bender, but it's actually really cool. So the biggest problem I have with a plaster template or any sort of template files, if you want to add a snippet or something, you've kind of got to go to the file and automatically update it. So what I did was I've made it so now what happens is if you make a pull request into our snippets repo, it'll do one of the build pipelines will actually automatically add the script after it's pester checked and all that. It'll automatically add the script into this specific repo. And what happens is when it goes into this repo, and if it has the correct header information in the top of the script, it actually will prompt you. So essentially, when you update your module locally, it'll actually automatically prompt you and say, do you want to add blah blah blah. But the really cool thing is let's say if you've got multiple, let's say you've got a couple of snippets that you need to add. Let's say, for example, base 64 snippets. You've got convert to and convert from. You can actually add the same if you put the same header name on top of them. It basically it'll actually treat them as the same and it'll interpolate both of those in dynamically. So it means that you can actually dynamically add your snippets without actually messing with the template. And the really cool thing is that when you actually add the template or when you actually add those files into the repo, a build pipeline will kick off and automatically rebuild the module, publish it to an internal NuGet repository in Azure DevOps, and then basically publish it as a PowerShell module update. So then basically when you on the client side, you'll see, hey, there's an update and you can download all the latest snippets. So that's the whole premise. And the whole premise is that basically any person in the office can then just go, new Insync script, and they just can hit the ground running. It sets them up with all all the interpolation. It sets them up. It actually adds unit tests. It adds PS script analyzer tests that basically that do linting. So there's obviously I've got some custom rules in there that do some linting, and there's obviously the standard sets of rules. So if they want to, they can write it locally and deal with it locally. But if they want to pull or push into a repo, by default those scripts need to be there, so that basically it can then run an analysis across it and then reject it or accept it based on its things. So yeah. Kind of like distributed and verified gets. Yeah, it is crazy. It's the thing that I really wanted to do for a very long time, because the problem is that trying to tell somebody locally, or trying to tell someone, especially they don't have a full understanding about what Git is, it gets very difficult to explain. And the problem is that people just want to just hit the ground running and writing a script. So I kind of wanted to be able to deploy code to all our machines in our organization. By the way, they're AAD joined, they're not domain joined. So that basically then they can actually do what they need to do. So it's yeah, it's a really cool concept, because then basically they can get the latest scripts. They don't have to worry about any of the gits shenanigans, and until they're ready to pull in, then they actually have to. So it's a really cool piece of automation. So these scripts, so that the snippets are basically are packaged into the module. And so when you obviously go new script, it'll actually look for a new, no, it actually works. It'll work really cool. It'll actually work completely fine. So it's per machine. So it's a module that you deploy to the machine, or to the user, it doesn't really matter. And essentially what it does is when you go, for example, new script, it'll actually go check, hey, there's an update to its NuGet repository, and it'll actually pull down all the updates. So it's pretty much an end-to-end pipeline. So yeah, actually, I'm really proud of it, because it means that we can have users, users actually running code that they can write code really easily without having to. They're going to still need to interact with Azure DevOps, but essentially it's going to be minor. So anyway, standard execution. Back to thing. Commandlet. So standard execution. So essentially we need to arrange. We need to actually mock a variable. So let's mock all, mate. Test. We're going to need to act. So let's do that. Let's do some asserting. What do we need to assert? We need to assert that old mate didn't get called, which I shouldn't have, but I'm still going to be pedantic. Exactly 0. We're then going to validate. Oh, we can get the stack, can't we? Oh, we can just get the stack. It doesn't really. I don't think that really is going to matter. We don't need to. I'm just looking at what we need to mock. Send AI trace. I've got a lot to mock. Get rid of all that. That's not going to work. Oops. Yep. Okay. Cool. We need to mock old matey, like so. Yeah, I think you're going to like this, Glenn. So essentially, I've updated AI-traceLog. So instead of using the custom events PowerShell module, it uses another one. It's using PSApp Insights. And so essentially, it's the same premise, but what it does is, if it's an error, if it's an exception raised by get error or AI error, it will then raise an exception. But then everything else is just a normal event. But what's really cool, one of the really cool things is that essentially you get your commandlet to execute. So it's just a string. It basically obviously builds out the parameters, and then basically right down to here. Where is it? It's always something that I can't find. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. I was just having a man look. So then I just execute the actual string and then splat it in. And what's really cool is that here what we can do is we can actually, because an exception is a different commandlet, so I can actually just change the variable. Essentially the parameters remain the same. There's not really anything else. So it doesn't really remain the same, but essentially I just redeclare the properties, and then it just splats it in. So essentially it's actually just a single splat, which single splat, single command, and you don't have to do any sort of funky stuff. So trying to keep it as lean as possible. Yeah. Anyway, so I do actually realize I actually do have a pesta should returns, and will actually return the parameters. Oh, the parameters, which I actually am going to use. I'm actually going to use it. Result, so we can actually assert. Should call. Shouldn't it call new AI client? Once we've done that, exactly 0. Shouldn't have called new AI client. Shouldn't we should see a send AI trace was asserted. Expected result, so we can actually just say send AI trace like so. The expected result exactly once. It shouldn't have called old matey. Send AI exception like so, and then I need to validate the parameters to make sure there's any sort of shenanigans going on there. Because I do think there's going to be shenanigans going on there, which we need to validate. So I have no idea it's going to come back. So I'm just gonna breakpoint and see what this does anyway. All right, let's see what happens. Property instrumentation key cannot be found on this object. Verify that the property exists and can be set. Line 62. Oh, okay, we need to actually declare it. Can we declare it that way? I thought we could. Thought I could declare an object. Fantastic. Okay, we can't. So what I need to do is PS custom object, and I'm going to do it this way, like so. We're going to declare it like that. So let's rerun old matey. Okay, let's have a look at our result. This is going to be interesting. Okay, we got a full stack. Good. So cannot verify variable with name. Ooh. This drives me bonkers. I'm just gonna null it. This makes it simpler. Yep. I'm just gonna quickly do this, and I'll write my quick results here. Shift F5. It. Is not should be not where's should? Where is should? Should. should exist. Shouldn't exist. Message, properties, severity, infinite full stack. Not really interested in the content. I'm just more interested in making sure it returns something. And yes, okay. Should call send AI trace with the expected result. It also helps if. Oh, hang on. Should call send AI trace with expected result. Expected discern. It was called exactly 0 times. Interesting. Okay. Should have returned a param object. We'll sort that one out. But let's have a look at our code. I'm intrigued to see if this is actually running it. It ain't. The reason why it's not executing is because it's returning output there. Actually, that's the right output. It's not a. I'm just gonna put it here. See if that fixes it. Shouldn't have called. Oh, goodness. Let's rerun you. Remove you. What do we got? Should call send AI trace with expected results. And it didn't. Expected path. Should exist as a file path. I'm just going to do this. Should not. Let's try put a not there, see if that does it. I'm going to fix the easy ones first before I hit the hard ones. Okay, fixed. Okay, should have returned. I'm actually wondering. The reason why it's not running is because it's send AI trace. I just got. Haha! Look at that. Look at that. Perfect. All right. So that's stand execution. What we need to do is so essentially we got the code execution path being run, which is working. We need to now put an error. The red text throws me off. Red means error, right? Does it look red? Because that's orange. Yeah, that's orange. Purple is error. So yeah, let me check Twitch. Give me 2 secs. Apparently at least I don't have to watch my own. Oh god, this is 320p is awful. Hang on, let me switch that to 1080. No, it's orange. Could be a screen, mate. Anyway, so essentially Yes. We're just checking to make sure that I'm not interested in the content. I'm just only interested in to make sure that I return something. Okay, cool. Now we need to test missing resource. Okay, let's make this. Commandlet is missing resource name parameter. Commandlet standard execution. Yeah, okay, cool. So what we can do here is just give us a quick run, make sure we're still good. Yep, we're still good. All right, sweet. So what we need to do now is error. We actually we got standard execution. Oh, this thing is, it's only testing standard execution on that. Okay, so what we're gonna need to do is, because it's only where you can raise different types, we're gonna need to test those. So I'm gonna need to refactor this so that it can test each type. So what we can do is get all our types. Error type. I'll just call error types. Each error type and error types. We're going to do this. Standard execution. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to append the type. Like so. I'm just going to rerun this. It should run a lot more, and we see some errors. Verbose should have called prime object. Alright. Information was fine. So there's some issues there. Definitely some issues. We've mocked them. Yep. So. So warning, debug. All right, so done. Professor should return. Set mock called. Yep. Shouldn't have called. Yeah, that should be fine. Shouldn't have called that. I'm just gonna go like so. Let's add a breakpoint. Let's put an exception in there. Let's go ahead and run it. Sweet. All right. You're telling me that it shouldn't have called it. Don't tell me. Don't tell me that what's happening here is that, just remove you. Actually, I'm just gonna re-add you. Oh, it's gonna, yeah. We can re-add you and we can just drop a breakpoint there because I have a sneaking suspicion it is going to remove it. That's frustrating. Okay. I'm just going to need to create for each of them. That's fine then. Painful, but okay. So what we need to do here is move old matey from there into here. Mock objects. So if we rerun it now, remove all our breakpoints. Okay, cool. Now we're actually getting somewhere. Should call send AI trace with expected result. Expected to be called once, but it was called twice. How can it be called twice? There's only one time it can be called. Literally. Unless it's the process block. It could be in the process block. Why would it be called twice? That's what I mean. Like, it's interesting. This is why unit test is so good, because you can actually see some weird things like, oh, look at that. Look at this. So you can see it's called one time, then it's called 3 times. Oh, sorry, it's called twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So it seems like a cert mock called is not resetting its count, because this is running in its own space. There's no way that that can run twice. I actually think there's something going on with a cert mock called. Unless a cert mock called only it applies to the context block, so it only gets you. Now what I mean though is though, like, yeah, it's inside of a loop, but that loop with a cert mock called, that is inside its own. It's inside its own context block. That's why. That's why. Okay. So what we need to do here is to actually change this. So we're going to need to move this out. It's a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. It actually makes it a little bit neater, to be honest. So I'm just going to move this entire context block inside the for each. And that'll fix it. So if we do this, just bring it all back one, bring it all back to basics. Context. The context is the error type. Yeah, that's exactly right. The context is the error type. I didn't want, like, to be honest, admittedly, I was just kind of cutting corners. I was like, I just didn't want to have to, I didn't want to have to write, to do this. I actually just wanted to just leave it inside and leave it inside the same context block and then do it that way, but, it's probably better. to do it this way. Commandless standard execution with I don't even like error type. That's stupid because it's not even error type. It's just stream type, log stream type, like so. So if we do this with error type, I'm glad. Commandless standard execution and log stream type with log stream type. I'm just going to put the log stream type there to make sure it's easily readable. Where's that one? Yep, that's in line. That's in line. Get rid of that guy. He applies. Clean up my parentheses. Clean up my curly braces. What are you whinging about? It missing equals operator. Where? Where am I missing an equals operator? After hash literal. Okay, I think it's a little bit broken. Let's just run it. No, I am not. It's broken. Oh, there. Like that. Fix that up. Let's hit it. Ooh, look at that. Looks much better. Long stream type verbose error warning. Ta-ta. Okay, we are nearly done. Quick stream. Oh, it looks good. I'm really happy with that. I really like when it looks nice and clean. Okay, so we've done that. What's our next thing we need to do? We need to test raising an error. Oh, sorry, not an error, an exception, because it's a different thing. So if error details is specified, what's error details in here anyway? Okay, it's a hash table. Okay, so what we can do here is we can go context. Commandlet standard execution with standard execution with standard execution with exception. So what we can do in here is I'll do my big three so I know how to organize everything. So we can arrange by, we need to mock all the all these fellas. Shift tab, bring you back. We need to act. Result. We can actually just do this. So what we can do here, standard error. So I think detail can go test. Actually, I'm just going to put all that back. Like so. I'm going to build some parameters out so we can splat it in. It's getting a bit too long. And we need to specify the error details. What's inside the error details? Does it do anything? What's it doing? Message to send. What's message to send? Okay, that's message to send. Severity level information. Yep, okay, so, yep, component, yep. Details. Okay, so it's adding keys, okay, yep. It's adding each item, so we're just gonna put some hash table in here. We're just gonna test property 1, test property 2. I'm actually intrigued to see what the output is on this. So we can splat that in. So, and what we can do here is grab all this. Shift tab him, get rid of that. Do this. So long stream type shouldn't have called UI client. Yep, that's fine. Should have. Should call. Send AI exception exactly once. That should have sent it 0 times. Get rid of all that there. We don't need that. What are we expecting as our parameters? Okay, just going to copy that so we can actually quickly write our response parameter check. Like so. So like should have returned a param object. We've got error info, properties, properties dot resource name, dot date time, dot component. And at the same time, it's also dynamically added the details that we passed in as well. So what we need to do here is go, these shouldn't be null either. We don't really need to check it. We just need to make sure that they're not null. Like so. That's all we're interested in. So is there a value? Like so. So once we've done that, I have an itchy nose. We should be able to actually smash this out. So, yep. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, it should call send AI exception. Didn't call it. Okay, cool. It should have called send AI trace. Sent it once. Shouldn't have sent it. Okay, cool. So, the reason why is because we also need to include the type. And it's an error. Let's try that. Bam. That's a winner. Shouldn't have called new A client. Yep. Should have called send A exception. Yep. Should have returned a param object. I'm just going to quickly drop a breakpoint here. And I just want to have a quick look at its results. There we go. Look at that. Perfect. That's really cool. And I think that is it for today. That was a good outcome. Got our test written. I might actually chuck some script analyzer tests on the back end of this to kind of just make sure that, yeah. But essentially, that's running. Now the key thing is, what's the code coverage like? What's it? Invoke pester code coverage path. Missing argument for parameter code coverage. Oh, okay. I just need to specify this. $74. Okay. We've got a few more tests to write. Oh, okay, we need to test all that. Okay. I don't know how we're going to test this though. I don't know what you're going to do to test. Like I could test that it did a right debug. Maybe I'll do that inside of here actually. Let me just add right debug to this. Well, interestingly enough, Microsoft implemented code coverage in their pester pull requests, and like they must have just added it, and then like for the sake of adding it. But the thing is that their initial, like their module is technically failing that test. They don't actually have enough tests to make code coverage initially. So if I try and make a change to pester, it's just not going to cover. So it's actually a little annoying. So my next thing is I'm just going to run a test I'm just going to do some quick change to this. We're going to say it. Should have called like so with an expected result. I don't think this is going to work. I think it's going to tragically fail, yeah. Why is that not working? Why can't I do that? It's a string. There's nothing wrong with it. Right information is completely valid. Nah, stuff it. I don't really think it's appropriate. I just don't think it's needed. Yeah. I just don't want to have to write out a separate I think I am going to have to. Alrighty. So switch. I just want to get this done so then I can move on to other things. I just want to see if this works for the first one. Alright, let's do it this way. Information warning error, verbose debug. Information warning error, verbose debug. Like so, right debug, right verbose, right error, right warning. Give me my throw. Log stream type is not known. So something like that, that's fine. Oh, interesting. Right verbose. Exactly once. Didn't run it. It did not run it. Look at that. Interesting. Okay, so we need to suss that out. Did it do it for information? Okay, did it for information. Let's do warning. Let's just drop a debug thingy on warning. Right warning. Just gonna tab this out, make it look a little bit nicer. Like so. I like my tab. I like it all neat. Make it neat. Neat is good. It looks a little better. Still humming and hawing about that. Yep, that's fine. And do that. Ooh. Okay. So for some reason it's not going inside of here. Why is that? Switch type. So I reckon it is. I just think there's something else going on here. So what we can do is drop a breakpoint there. And let's run it. Let's clear the screen. Rerun it. It's not. Interesting. So it's not actually going inside. Really? I'm just going to drop a breakpoint here. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so the reason why is because I'm actually not specifying its type. So if its type is log stream type, like so. Let's remove that breakpoint. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Now we are cooking with gas. Let's just rerun you fully. Yes, please. Should call write debug with expected result. Yep. All right, let's code coverage it now. See what we get. Code coverage. I'm happy with that. 98% is good enough. So the only thing that it knows, well, it can't test is not known, but that's because that's code. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I think that's a good outcome. I think that's a very good outcome. We've got some, yeah, got a good outcome from that. Today I got my test written, which means I can push for thingies tomorrow, which means my colleagues can use it, which means everyone's getting off my back, which means I'm happy. And then I can then, I'm probably going to write some integration tests for it later though, but essentially I think it's, yeah, I think that's good enough for the time being. So it's got some initial tests. It's able to test all the execution paths, so that'll work. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. Yeah, Saturday is PowerShell 101 live. It will be advanced functions part 2, so still a lot of stuff we're going to be covering in advanced functions. Also, I think what's going to be happening, it depends. I think we're just going to be doing advanced functions on Saturday, and we'll just leave it there because I do think that there's still a fair bit of work to be done on that. So I don't think we're going to be moving on with 101 live until that is complete. So that'll be probably Saturday. And yeah, we'll just, what else? I'll be back next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I have on the cards to actually create a new, obviously making amendments to the PowerShell framework templating module. So that's going to be something I'm going to be working on tomorrow, next week. Getting that out of the way because there's a couple of things I want to push into that and make some fixes. And yeah, and we'll probably be it. And then we'll be obviously pushing to 101 live again. So hope you guys enjoyed it. It's good to see you, Glenn, mate. I'm going to bounce, man. I'm going to, it's bath time for Bob, and I kind of want to say g'day to Bob. So anyway, guys, have a good one. I'll see you guys next week. Anyway, arrivederci. Bye.